Hello, Dr. Mike Matthews, physical therapist here with the PT 411. Thanks so much for joining me. If you already haven't done so, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you'll be notified when I come out with new content. The last several weeks we've been talking about the stability ball here. We went through some discussions with it. We talked about exercises that we can do while we're nursing a back injury, while we're having lower back pain, and we also started talking about core exercises. Last week we looked at core exercises for our abdominal muscles, our front muscles up here using the stability ball. So this week we need to look at the other half of the core, the back muscles back here, these extensors. So that's what we're going to be focusing on for this video for this week. So if you're new to these videos, if you're new to this channel, I'm going to be referencing several different things throughout this video that we've covered on previous videos. So make sure you head on over to YouTube and check those out now. So let's jump right into it. So the first several exercises, we're going to be placing the stability ball underneath us, underneath our stomach and our pelvis. The first exercise that we will do are called swimmers. So we're going to start off here, positioning the ball underneath us like this. Hands and feet are on the ground, knees are straight. And we're going to start off by raising up one of our legs and the opposite arm at the same time. So making sure I'm staying in frame here. As we lift up that one leg, we're lifting up that opposite arm at the same time. We're coming back down. And then we're going to alternate it and go off to the other side, hold, and back down. A few things that we need to make sure that we're doing during this exercise. We have to make sure that our back is arched, that nice neutral arch, not overarching it, but a nice neutral arch there. And we're activating that TA muscle. We're drawing in that stomach towards our spine. Again, so drawing it in, back nice and arched with that neutral positioning. We're going to raise one arm in the opposite leg and back down, and then off to the other side and back down. If this exercise right off the bat is pretty difficult for you, what we're going to need to do is to start off with just our legs until we're comfortable with that, and then just our arms. So we're alternating our legs, keeping our spine nice and neutral, nice and fixated there. We work on sets of 20 there, alternating back and forth, and then we work on sets of 20, alternating our arms, going back and forth there. Once you're comfortable with both of those, then we can combine it into those swimmers. Our next exercise, upper trunk extensions, we're going to be starting off the same way, underneath our stomach and our pelvis. We're going to have our hands behind us here. We're going to be lowering our upper body as far as we can, and then we're going to raise everything up. We're lifting our head up, pulling our shoulders back. We're holding there for about 5 seconds before we come back down. 20 repetitions here as well. TA muscle is also activated here. Just up and down for those 5-second holds, 20 times. A couple things to make this easier on you if you're pretty unsteady. We can have our hands up here on the ball, not to push us up, but just to steady that ball and make sure we're going up nice and even. See, I can hold my hands here and come up. If I needed to, I could raise my hands up for a split second to start to build up to that 5-second hold there without even holding on. Or if we need to hold on that whole time, we can do so as well. We can also back up to a wall, put our feet up against a wall to steady our lower body a little bit more. All things that we can make it a little easier and work our way up eventually to not using a wall and having our hands behind our hips here. Next exercise, lower trunk extensions. Setting up the same way again. TA muscle drawn in, but this time we might want to walk away up just a little bit more so it's a little more underneath our pelvis, a little bit less underneath our back here. Legs staying straight. We're raising up those legs. We're squeezing the butt muscles there, squeezing those glutes as we raise up. Letting that back arch as we come up there. Those 5-second holds again. 20 times at a time. We can always widen our grip with our hands if we need to give us a little bit more of a base. If we want it a little bit more challenging, we can always bring our hands closer together. So the next exercise, bridges. We're gonna start off on our backs on this one. Ball down here at our feet. We're gonna place our feet and our ankles, the lower part of our calves, on the ball here. Up top, we're gonna have our elbows slightly out to the side and bent so we can press down, keep ourselves nice and steady. If we need a little bit more, we can bring our hands down as well. They're straight down here. A little bit less stability from our upper body, making it a little bit more challenging. We can have our elbows bent here. So we're gonna start off with that TA muscle activated again, drawn in there. We're just gonna brace up with our hips, driving our hips up, thrusting them up there about as far as we can. Engaging those glute muscles and those back muscles. We're gonna hold that for 5 seconds before we come back down. We're trying to minimize the wobble with the ball as we're working on this one. So coming up, 5 seconds. We're working on 20 repetitions at a time. To make this exercise a little bit more difficult, we can raise our elbows up off the ground completely to make it even more difficult to steady ourselves as we're coming up. And back down after that 5-second hold. Next exercise, tabletops. We're gonna start off up nice and upright here. Good posture here, activating that TA muscle. We're gonna walk out with our legs, but we wanna maintain this upright posture here. Keep that posture. We're gonna walk our legs out here so we can bring this ball underneath the very top of our shoulders and our head. We need to make sure that we keep our hips elevated as much as we can, activating those glutes and those back extensors there. We're holding this one. Typically we want to hold this one quite a bit longer, 10-20 seconds for those 20 repetitions. And the same thing coming back up as we were staying down. Keep that back as arched as we can. And a nice neutral arch position as we come back up. TA muscle stays activated that entire time. Now I did say I do not want that back to flex. I don't want to lose that arch, but if it is very difficult to maintain, go ahead and let that back lose a little bit of that arch as we come down. So that's going to look like this. Kind of lose it a little bit, but as quickly as you can, you want to arch that back up again and walk it out the rest of the way. Holding it right there. And then on the way back up, keep it arched as long as you can. That last second, let it bend a little bit. The second that you can bring it back nice and upright again, make sure you do so. Next exercise, walk out with a march. Setup is the same as the walkouts here. Nice and upright, TA muscle engaged. Keep that back as arched as you can. Walking out into that same position, but as we're up here, now we're gonna march with those legs during that 20 seconds. So make sure you transfer your weight over to the opposite leg. You're gonna lift up and back down. Lifting up and back down. This one can be pretty difficult here. Make sure you're bringing your elbows back, squeezing into that ball for a little bit extra help if you need it. So transferring that weight to the opposite leg, up and back down. Opposite leg, up and back down. Try to maintain those hips up as best you can. Again, engaging that TA muscle. We get done with those 20 seconds. We're coming back up and letting it rest. This one, let's just do about 3 to 5 sets at a time. Working on this one, no need to do near as much because this one is definitely very difficult to keep everything nice and stable. So next exercise, curl ups. We're gonna start off in that bridging position again. TA nice and engaged here. Raising up here, we're gonna curl this ball up towards our hips. We're gonna bring that ball up towards those hips here. So, but instead of doing a hamstring curl, where we're keeping our hips relatively low here and drawing back this way, we need to maintain a straight line here between our core and our thighs. So instead of looking like this, it's gonna be coming up more this way. Now on this one, we don't need to do any holds. We're just curling up and coming back down, working towards those 20 repetitions here. Again, making this one more difficult. We raise our elbows up to make it more unsteady as we come up and then as we go back down. Next exercise here, single leg bridges. Starting off in this bridge position again. And as the name implies, we're just going to be doing it with one leg. So we're lifting one leg up to start off with. We're going to bridge up, do that 5-second hold. As you can tell, this is quite a bit more difficult. There's a lot more wobble as I'm working on this one. But we're working on those 5-second holds 20 times and making sure that we're hitting both legs here. And last and most difficult in this video, single leg curl ups. So setting up for those curl ups here. And again, single leg. We've already gone through the curl ups. So setting up here, one leg off, and we're gonna curl up and back down. And remember, we're not holding these. We just come up and back down 20 times. And after those 20, we'll switch those legs here. Curling up and back down, ensuring that our hip stays nice and stiff so that there's a straight line between our thigh and our core. So that's it for this week's video. 9 exercises for our core using our stability ball, or more specifically, our back extensors, the back side of our core here. As this channel, the PT411, grows, we will periodically come back to the stability ball, show other exercises, whether it's more exercises for the core or other parts of the body, because again, like I've said in several other videos, this is a great piece of equipment to have. Everybody should own one, so we're gonna make sure that we stay on top of working out that entire body and rehabbing this entire body using the stability ball here. So whether we don't have one, or if we do and we haven't used it in a while, go to the store and get one, or go in the back of the closet, dust it off, air it up, and let's start using one of these bad boys, and let's start investing in the future of our health now. Again, I'm Dr. Mike Matthews, physical therapist here with the PT411. Thanks for joining me.